Michael Nagy here with Jiggy Jag TV and DiscoveringBands.com. And for everyone watching, share this video and my channel and help support the awesome bands I feature. And today I'm here with Night Terror. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing good, doing good.
Awesome.
It's great to have you. Now, you want to start off and give everyone a little, tell us about your musical background?
Sure. I'd love to. Thank you very much. Well, my real name is Jeff. I've actually, been into music since I was a little kid. Actually, my latest album cover is, a picture of me as a kid with my little Casio keyboard and everything. So ever since I was a little kid, I love music. My family was very musical. My parents weren't as much, but, aunts and uncles and people around me. So we always had music in the family, and I loved being involved in music. I loved playing music. I started playing bass when I was about 12 or 13 years old, and actually my first job was running sound for a jazz club on Sunday nights, and it was kind of my uncle's gig, and he taught me how to do it. It was a lot of fun. So I've always been involved in music, and mostly punk and metal bands. Back in the 90s, I played in a band that was fairly popular called Pleasure Void. I played bass for them, and we toured around a lot. Had a lot of gigs, and we were more on the goth art rock side of music. We got labeled as, goth, art rock, art punk, all sorts of stuff. And I've always wanted to do a solo project. I tried many years ago, and failed pretty miserably at it because I just had no experience. And a couple of years ago, I just decided to take the time to really get into it and learn everything. And yeah, so it's been really nice. It's been an amazing adventure, because this time I didn't just jump into it. I actually learned music production. I learned mixing and mastering. I learned music theory. I learned how to play piano. I learned how to do finger drumming, all sorts of stuff. And, I took that experience and mixed it with the artists that I loved, and, just started writing music, and that's how Night Terror came about. So, yeah, it's been fun.
I know your music reflects a lot of the struggles you've overcome for your life, and you want to go into a little more details about that?
Sure. Yeah. It's it's been an adventure for sure. There's no doubt about that. Around the time that I got into music at a young age, I also got into drugs and alcohol. It just kind of became a big part of my life. I never felt like I fit in or belonged, and all these things kind of went hand in hand. I didn't get along with all the popular kids. I didn't get along with just everything that was going on in life day to day, and I felt very isolated and alone, and I kind of found these niche people that were into the punk scene and into the goth scene, and they didn't necessarily encourage me to get into drugs and drinking, but it certainly was there, and I fell in love with it. I drank or used, and I just felt like I was whole again. I felt like I was accepted, and I felt like I could actually be a person. Unfortunately, down the line, it became a problem, and it became a problem with jobs. It became a problem with bands. Actually, the band Pleasure Void I mentioned. I would be so drunk on stage. I remember one time I fell over into the drum kit and knocked things over, and just embarrassing for them. That I was such a wreck and a mess, and I kind of put that stuff before anything else, before relationships, before family, before music, and I had some consequences, being arrested, jail time, totaling cars, DWIs, things like that, and couldn't seem to get my life under control. And I tried for a long time to really change that, and nothing really seemed to work. And I got to a point where I just needed to do something, and it wasn't working on my own. And I found, you know, a 12-step program that, you know, I still work today, and, you know, it was life-changing for me. I ended up, you know, getting sober. I ended up starting to, you know, realize my potential in life. You know, I used to watch shows like America's Got Talent and stuff like that, and like, man, I wish I could do things that they're doing. You know, I wish I could get out there. I wish I could experience the world. I wish I could do all these things, and I just couldn't. You know, I was stuck, you know, in the, you know, this drug-induced state, you know, that I couldn't get out of. And in my sobriety, you know, I realized that I could do anything I wanted. When I was about 2.5, 3 years sober, I actually sold my house. I sold and gave away all my possessions except for what fit in my car. And I traveled the country for about 2 years, and you know, just drove all over the place, drove back and forth across the country a bunch of times, and you know, really got to experience life. I got, you know, really active in the outdoor adventure sports. You know, I got back into rock climbing and mountain biking, mountaineering, snowboarding. I was a snowboard instructor out in New Mexico for a while at Taos Ski Valley. You know, and the one thing that was always prevalent in that was the music. You know, I always loved it. As a matter of fact, when I lived in Taos, New Mexico, there was not a scene there at all. You know, maybe a couple people listened to new wave and things like that. A couple people were into punk, but I ended up jamming with the Grateful Dead cover band, because that was the only availability, and I didn't care. It was music, you know. It wasn't music I was really into, but, you know, they were wonderful people, and you know, I just enjoyed playing. So as I kind of grew into my sobriety, you know, through the people I met and the adventures I had, I was able to really start realizing that, you know, I could do whatever I wanted in life. You know, and I have continued that. When I moved to Roanoke, Virginia, which is where I'm at now, I saw they had a neat, you know, punk scene and everything. They had some clubs that had, you know, great bands coming by, and I really want to get more involved in that. So I started something called Roanoke Freak Show, and I started doing, you know, booking and promotion for bands, and you know, I think last year, or, you know, the year before the pandemic, I put on about 80 shows that year, and it was phenomenal. One of them was actually a Goth night my girlfriend and I put on, called Beyond the Crypt, and so we both DJ for that, which is a lot of fun, and that's the second Friday of every single month. Right now we're doing it on Twitch live stream. But that also, you know, allowed me the opportunity to explore music more, and that's how I, you know, got into taking all these classes and courses and everything. But I wouldn't have any of that if it wasn't for my sobriety. I would have zero motivation to do any of that, as much as I wanted to. So, you know, I'm so grateful to be where I'm at today, and you know, I love meeting all the people in the scene. There are some phenomenal people in this scene. Very down to earth, very cool people that have been very helpful and supportive of me doing this. And yeah, I hope that answers your question.
I'd love to hear you're in a better place. That's an inspiring story you got there.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, yeah. I think a big part of it too is to be able to inspire others. You know, I mean, it's not just about me. I know there are so many people that are like me that are out there struggling. You know, and I mean, if I can help one person by sharing part of my story, then that you know, makes all the difference to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask, you said you were driving around the United States for a while. How many states have you been to? Because I'm trying to hit all 50. I've been to 46 myself. So.
Man, I think that's exactly what I've been to. I think I've been to 46 or 47. You know, every time I go through and count them up, I'm like, have I been through there? You know, and some of them I just kind of caught the tail end of, so I don't know. I've never been to Alaska, and I've never been to North Dakota. So yeah, I think those are the two states that I've never been. And I'm sorry, Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii. I think that's about it. Um, yeah, I
That's
spent a
cool.
lot. Yeah. I spent a lot of time in Utah and Colorado, New Mexico, beautiful places. North Carolina, I spent a bunch of time down there. California, love being out in California. Every time I go out there, I'm so happy to be there. But I'm originally from New York, upstate New York. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much amazing nature, like you said, out west in Utah and Colorado. It's awesome. The national parks and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd seen a picture of Zion National Park, and I said to a friend, I said, "Where is this?" And he said, "Oh, I think it's Zion." I'm like, I'm going there. I've never been there, and man, I don't know if you've been there, Michael, but like when I started driving in there, I just broke out into tears. I mean, it was so beautiful being out there. I mean, the God, the cliffs are insanely gorgeous. Just the color of the rock and the sand and everything, and
Yeah, it's amazing. I spent a week at Zion. It's amazing.
nice. That's awesome. Did you do any canyoneering there?
I just did a lot of hiking. I hiked the Angels Landing Trail there.
Yeah,
Yeah, just a lot of
yeah,
hiking.
nice. And you probably did the Narrows too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, the Narrows are beautiful. I got hooked up with a good group of people that were really into canyoneering, and I'd never heard of it before, but it's moving creatively down through these slot canyons. And so I've actually done about 90% of the canyons in Zion National Park. I shouldn't say 90% because there are literally like a million canyons, but like 90% of the ones that you can actually get into. And God, it's so beautiful. I'm sure when you're up in Angel's Landing, you could see, into a lot of the canyons and everything.
yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
Now I want to ask about your music. Tell us about your new record you have, "Freak on the Inside."
Yeah, it's really exciting. I expected this just to be a fun music project for myself, and it turned out, hey, let's make a go of it and let's do a band. After I had learned some of the music theory and learned the music production and some more about the playing keyboard and piano and finger drumming and all that, I was like, okay, I can put some songs together. And I reached out to probably 5 different people to see if they would be willing to sing for me, because I don't sing. I'm not a singer, it's not going to happen. And man, it was like one after another. Sure, I'll do it. And then, never heard from them again. And I said, I'm telling all these people I've got this band and that I'm going to do this album and it's going to be out like in this certain time. And I don't have any vocals for this thing. What am I going to do? And I said, well, I took 800 hours of courses online for everything else. Let's take singing lessons. And so I started taking singing lessons. Sure enough, I got some stuff out of my throat there. And yeah, it's a work in progress for me. I've never liked my voice per se, but I think, especially for this style of music, it helps me a little bit because I've got a unique voice. And, I'm still finding and learning, with a keyboard or finger drumming or even playing bass, like, I know that I've got to put my finger here or do this, to get that note or to get that tone. And, singing, it's all internal, you don't have any of that. So I've had to learn all these different techniques, from breathing techniques to, building up and warming up and vocalizations and, loosening up your tongue, your jaw, your, just everything, and head voice and chest voice. I'm very fortunate that I can sing in a few different ranges, which is nice, and I'm hoping to explore that more. I'm not comfortable in a lot of different ranges yet, but again, it's progress, not perfection here. So I'll keep working on it and see what happens. But the album itself is really exciting. You know, I was trying to think about what am I going to call this, and you know, I said I want this to be a personal album. You know, I want this to be about me. You know, not from an ego perspective, but you know, I want to put my heart and soul into this. And you know, freak on the inside. Everybody refers to goths and punks and everything as freaks. You know, but I'm actually a freak on the inside because I've got all these odd things. I've got this really rare disease called primary ciliary dyskinesia and also dextrocardia. And the dextrocardia, my heart is actually on the opposite side of my body. A lot of stuff inside is reversed. You know, so I've got this weird thing where, you know, my body can't get rid of infections. And so I'm sick a lot, you know, and it sucks. I mean, I was basically born sick, and it makes it very hard to get through life. But you know, because of that, I get focused on things, and then I'm able to forget about the pain. I'm able to forget about the disease. I'm able to forget about what's going on in there, and just focus on something else. So, you know, purple hair, tattoos, and you know, all that stuff. Sure, on the outside, but you know, the freak part is really on the inside for me. You know, the album kind of covers a gambit of styles that I like. I'm really into you know, traditional goth music. I'm really into industrial music. I'm into, you know, punk rock. I'm into you know, synth pop. You know, as a DJ, I listen to so many different styles, and I'm like, oh, I love that, oh, I love that, oh, I love that, you know, and I want to add all these different things. Then you got artists like Morris Black that are doing like this industrial bass music, and I'm like, holy crap, this guy's like, you know, doing this amazing stuff, throwing it out there, you know, and so I've tried to mix all these different elements of things that I've liked, but not forcing it, you know. I just wanted it to come natural, whatever came out of me, and you know, that's the album right there. I don't know what the next one will sound like, but you know, I'm sure it'll be another personal album. Album.
Are you currently working on any new music?
Yeah. Actually, I've got about 40 songs that I'm working on. The ones that I chose for the album, I chose 10 songs for the album. I actually was struggling with some technical issues, not necessarily with the music writing, but with computer stuff and some of the programs I was using. And it forced me to change a couple things. In the middle of that, I just took one night to start playing around and just writing fresh music so I could stop focusing on the album. And I came up with Go Now, one of the songs on the album. And it's like, man, I love this. You know, it's just got this cool, you know, vibe to it and everything. It's upbeat and dancey. And so I ended up working on that a little more and putting it on the album. But yeah, I've got a whole slew of songs that I'm working on. I've got another artist who, she has a beautiful voice and is working on a song for me right now. I wrote the music for it, and I knew it was not fitted for my voice. I knew it'd be perfect for her voice. So I'm excited to release that soon. I've got a couple new songs that I'm working on, and then, you know, a whole bunch stashed away. So, you know, I plan to keep getting stuff out, and I love to hear feedback on what people think of the music. I know it's not all great. I mean, I'm a new artist, you know, but I want to develop and grow, and I want to make music that I enjoy making, but also music that you guys enjoy listening to.
Wow, it sounds like you have a lot of material.
Yeah, it's exciting.
The band name, Night Terror, how did that come to be, like that name?
Well, you know, it's an interesting story, and I'm going to jump back just a little bit. So when I first started DJing, you know, we started a goth night, and I thought, you know, well, we need a DJ. We don't really have a lot of money to hire one right now. what do we do? And I said, well, I'll just start DJing for the first couple, nights, and then we'll eventually be able to hire somebody to do that. And so I started out as DJ Dark Waves, and the reason was because my friend Steve up in New York, who DJs at Vertex nightclub, is DJ Darkwave, and he's one of my favorite DJs. Him and Mike Daler, and I just figured it's a couple nights. That's it. Well, 6 months later, I'm like, I gotta come up with my own original name, and my girlfriend said, well, it should be something personal. It should be something that's meaningful to you. And I was like, well, what do what's personal to me, but still sounds cool. And I thought DJ Night Terror, because I struggle with night terrors. It's something I've had since a little kid. And, when I started doing the music, I thought, well, Night Terror would be a really cool band name. It's still, again, personal to me. And I found that it was available. I found there were a couple other bands out there. So I actually went and got a trademark for Night Terror, and I trademarked the name and started promoting and working under that. I do digital marketing full-time for a living, so I was able to do all the graphic design for the, for all the promotional stuff, for the logo, for all that. And I have gotten a little more into video, so I actually did my last music video as well. We're working a little more on video production. Clint Carney from System Sin has been giving me some tips. He is a phenomenal guy, super creative, so he's pointed me in the right direction. I'm starting to learn Blender, to work on some 3D rendering and everything, and going through getting a little bit better at video production as well. So, yeah, it's really exciting.
Yeah, I did an interview with System Sin recently. Pretty amazing band.
Yeah, he is such a great guy. He really is. Very nice. I mean, there are so many people in this scene that have been super helpful. Paul from Tragic Impulse has been phenomenal. This guy is like my hero, because he has been there every step of the way through my music production career, through the album. He's been the person that I've gone to when I need an honest opinion about something, and just super helpful. Christian Carver, who I know you interviewed recently, he helped me out with the finger drumming and everything. Suggested I start working with the Pomodoro technique. Brian Black Noise from Morris Black, he's been phenomenal, listening to some of the songs that I've put together, and giving me opinions on things. Stephen Archer from Stoneburner. I mean, just all phenomenal people that have been really supportive and helpful.
That's what's great about the whole goth industrial scene, is everyone's trying to be there for everyone and help each other out.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love that people are that way. We're a huge worldwide scene, but at the same time, we're still so small. That's nice. We can all collaborate together and communicate together. Yeah.
Are you familiar with the band Spank the Nun? Because he's really good with video and stuff. Like you said, if you ever needed some help with like video production.
Nice. I'm not familiar with them, but I'll definitely check them out. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. What type of music are they?
Oh, industrial.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. What a great name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had him on my channel a couple times now.
Nice. Very cool.
He did my first virtual performance.
What's that?
He did my first virtual performance.
Very cool. That's awesome. And do you play music too?
No, I just do interviews with the bands. I mean, I mess around with little electronic stuff online, but nothing major.
Yeah. Well, you definitely had some great bands on here. I saw your interview with Palace of Tears,
Mm-hmm.
and got to see them on the Luna Negra, virtual festival yesterday. Oh my God, they were so good. Her voice is phenomenal. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, yeah. There are so many phenomenal bands out there, really. I mean, I'm just so blown away with how this scene is, flourished.
That's what I'm trying to do with this channel, is just help people get to know a lot of these bands out there that are really good that just people don't know about.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's a great way to get it out there, People love watching video, and, they love seeing what people have to say about the music. So, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, just helping people discover new bands. And I throw in a couple big names just to get people to the channel, too. But
Of course. Like Night Terror, right? Not just kidding.
I don't know where the band could end up, though, in a couple years from now or something,
You never know. Yeah, I'm not in this to get big. I mean, honestly, I was blown away that I got put on a record label so quickly. I just want to make music for myself. That was it, and I enjoy it. So hopefully other people do too.
Yeah, now if people want to find you online, look you up, get your music on social media. How do they do that?
The easiest way is just to go to nightterrormusic.com, and I've got all my links on there. I've got videos on there. I've got the music on there. But you can find me on iTunes and Spotify, on Amazon, Bandcamp, SoundCloud. I'm pretty much on any of the major music channels there. But the website actually has, kind of a good collaboration of everything. My Instagram, Facebook. I'm not on Twitter yet. Should I be on Twitter? Are people doing Twitter? Is that
100%? Yeah, 100%. Twitter has really helped my following.
Really? I've always been confused by, and I do digital marketing. I've always been confused by Twitter. It's like, well, what are people gonna, put on there? What do people want to know about me? I don't like talking about myself that much, because that's a big part of, this change in my life, my sobriety is kind of this ego reduction, and to be in a band and try and get any recognition, you've got to put yourself out there. So it's this dichotomy that I've got of, I got to keep talking about myself, but I don't want to talk about myself. I'm sure I'll get on Twitter. I'm sure I'll be out there, pretty soon. It's definitely a lot managing all those channels. And on top of that, I manage, Facebook and Instagram and Google and all these other things for 30 other clients. So
it's a lot of time on social media, especially right now when we can't have, live shows or anything. You're spending time promoting on social media.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's wonderful that you can do it from one place. I remember having street teams and things back in the day when I did events, and having to flyer places and all that. So it's nice that you can do it from one central place, or even from your phone. You can sit in the shower on your phone, because they're waterproof now, right? And do all your tweets and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask, for the whole lockdown and pandemic, how have you handled all that?
I spend 15 hours a day in the studio. That's what I've done. It's been phenomenal for me. I've got this lung disease, so I can't go out and be in the public. I don't want to try and bug my girlfriend 24/7, because, that would be horrible. And, I know she'd get sick of me. So, I spend all this time working and making music, and that's really what I do all day, every single day. If I don't spend at least 4 hours a day doing something with music, I'll feel like I just didn't accomplish anything. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's usually 4 to 10 hours a day. So,
Wow, that's dedication.
Yeah, I love it though. I love it. I absolutely love it.
And when can we expect another single to be released?
I'm going to try and release new music every month. That's my goal. You know, it's not a guarantee, but it's definitely my goal. So, you know, I'm hoping to have something out by the middle of January, and then in February and March and April and May, and you know, just keep getting more music out. And while I'm doing that, I'll be collecting for the new album as well. So, you know, the nice thing about this is that, you know, I'm learning different techniques, I'm learning different styles, and I'm learning what you guys like too. And, you know, as I find out more of the songs that you guys like, you know, I can start producing better music for you.
So you're basically trying to do a single a month and then put a record together at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll probably do a, you know, single a month, and then you know, hopefully in another, you know, 8 months I'll have some phenomenal songs together for a new next album, and get that out to everybody. Yeah. I'm getting old, man. I gotta go quick, you know.
Are you doing any virtual streams?
Yeah, absolutely. I did you know, Squawk Stock, which was the Tiger Squawk Records, the label that I'm on. You know, we had pretty much all the Tiger Squawk Records bands, you know, on this virtual festival about a month and a half ago, and we've got another one coming up in January. I want to say it's around the 18th or 21st, something like that. I'm doing a benefit show on January 30th for a center that deals with you know, addiction, alcoholism. They've got needle exchange. They deal with you know, just kind of the whole gambit of everything. And you know, it's a phenomenal cause. I'm really embarrassed that I don't remember right now what it's called, because I feel like that's you know, a passionate thing, and I should put it out there. Let me see. I'll find this really quick. It is called A Very Special Variety Show for Hips, HIPS. And yeah, that is January 30th. So that's going to be really exciting. You know, we've got our Goth night, which is the second Friday of every month, and that's a live stream. And then I do plan to live stream on the Night Terror Music Twitch channel. So it's twitch.tv/Night Terror Music. And I'm going to try and do about an hour a week on there. You know, everything from me mixing and mastering in the studio to just talking and chatting to working on songs, whatever people want. Yeah.
Awesome to hear you're staying busy.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, it was good having you and talking with you, and everyone look him up.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Michael. This is great.
Yeah, it was great talking with you.
Yeah, you too. Absolutely.